Hey there, Virgo, welcome to your reading for this time. We're going to jump right in here. You have this opening to discovery card and this close encounters card. A lot of discovery energy in these readings, I would say, which is interesting. It could just be a time of discovery. It could be a time where we need to explore the unknown, which I definitely feel is true because, we have Pluto in Aquarius, which is a big kind of innovative energy. So anything we can do to innovate and explore is a great way to do it. It will lead to a lot more success in our lives, and just something I would do. You have the King of Swords as your first card. I feel really good about that King of Swords. I kind of feel like it's you. Yes, I understand that the King of Swords does not represent Virgo, but I feel that that is the energy that you could be embracing at this time. It's like you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom. You have learned a lot over the years, and now you could be expressing it. You even have the Star, and sometimes I feel with the Star card that the Star card says in a reading that you need to be the star, as in you need to shine your light bright. And that could be through expressing your wisdom, teaching people how to do things, just building something new that shows people that you actually do have the skills that you say that you have and all those other things. And, all of that is like swirling around in my head with the King of Swords. It's actually a pretty intense King of Swords energy that I'm getting off of the card. So I think it would be a great time for you to share your wisdom, for you to express yourself or, whatever the case may be. Your crossing energy, which can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross, is the Nine of Wands. I don't know, I feel like Virgo has learned a lot about boundaries over a long period of time. I've said to you before that pretty much toward the end of a previous cycle, love was changing for you, Virgo, because, before that time, I think you had a lot of lessons that you were learning probably through your love life. Now, that does not have to mean love as in a relationship. It could be other relationships as well, not just romantic connections. It could be family members, the people that are close to you. I feel that you learned a lot of good and bad lessons, to be quite honest. I think that, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you Virgos have one or two standout situations that happened in relationships, and I'm talking about all relationships, right? And the Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. Now, what I'm getting here intuitively for you, Virgo, is that I feel that this is saying don't be too cautious, right? You should absolutely, put up boundaries and all those other things, but we also need to be careful of overcorrecting, right? To the point where, if you got hurt, let's say you had someone burn you in business, if now you are completely avoiding connections in business, then really you're hurting yourself more. So I kind of get this feeling. I'm I don't feel bad about this, but I just get this feeling of needing to make sure that you are kind of balanced in your approach. It's yes, you should still have boundaries and you should pay attention and all that other good stuff, but, don't be so closed off that you don't form any connections at all, right? Next, in the area of what's on your mind or your thoughts, you have the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is your emotions overflowing, being very happy. The Ace of Cups is all about flow. A lot of people have been getting the Ace of Cups, and I do believe we're in a time of flow. The universe wants us to be more efficient during this period. I always say that really moving forward in the coming years, the key word that everyone should focus on is efficiency and being more efficient. It doesn't really surprise me that around this time, regardless of how you feel about it, whether you think it's positive or negative, that AI came out, right? AI is making things more efficient. So, again, I like to tell people that we should be looking at the world as a reflection. What is going on in the world and what is it reflecting to us? So on a personal level, we can all probably become more efficient in all areas of our life, which would create more flow. The more flow you create, the better things get, and that's really what I would be focusing on. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is showing up in your foundation, and the Two of Cups can represent a perfect match. I do feel a little bit of love here for those of you that want it, so there could be a connection coming in for you. The funny thing is you always get Scorpio and Earth with me, so it wouldn't surprise me if you are looking for love or if you already have it, it wouldn't surprise me if it was either a Scorpio or a Capricorn or a Taurus that is coming in for you. It could even be another Virgo, or it could be a person who has a lot of those signs in their chart. So, it really just wouldn't surprise me. But if you want love, definitely could be a good connection. Two of Cups, it's also important that we listen to our higher self. This is communication between you and your higher self, and anything you can do to meditate, tap in, whatever, listen to your dreams, all those things. Next, in your past position, this is the energy you're moving past. You have this expansion card. It says you are ready to expand and move forward to your next lucky break, which is good. You have this web of creation. It says be aware of what you're weaving in your life to create better experiences. Yes, I think that we are also in a time of attention, and you have the star, which is a card of attention. But attention can go both ways. It can represent getting attention, but it could also represent paying attention to. With this spider card, it would represent paying attention to the words that you use against yourself. Pay attention to the story that you tell about yourself. Again, we all have this internal story, I believe, and, one thing that changed my life was just changing the story that I told myself in my head. That's it. And it's probably the thing that led to the most success, so I'm a big fan of changing the story. The other thing about spiders, they represent process, and we are also in a time of process. So spiders have to weave a web before they catch bugs, right? If you are trying to find success in your life, I would be looking at, like, in work or business, like, what is the process that you're following? Maybe you don't even have a process, and this could represent creating a process that you follow. My process for this channel is every single morning I wake up, the first thing I do is 4 videos every single day no matter what, right? And 4 videos always puts me like a couple days ahead. So what people don't realize is I'm able to take time off, right? So it looks like I'm doing work every single day. People always ask me, how do you do so much work? Because I work on this channel, I work on my other channel, I work on my social medias for my other channel and this channel. I get a lot of work done, but really what I discovered years ago is that I just have a process for getting things done. It made me so much more efficient. I probably think I work a lot more than I actually do, and the reason is because I developed the process, right? So having some sort of process would be a good idea. You have the Death card. The Death card, of course, can represent death or transformation. I'm not really feeling much here. I feel like some of you have gone through a transformation, obviously, and, I think you're just going through a transformation. I also think it could be a Scorpio. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have a really good card. You have this Thriving card, and you also have this Truth card as well. So you could be feeling like you're thriving, or you could be building up, a process that makes you thrive in work or business, which would be a good idea. We're in a time of truth. There are going to be a lot of truths that come out. We're already seeing all these celebrities getting exposed, for example, right? There will just be a lot more of that moving forward. So we're in a time of truth, and again, the reflection, speaking of reflections on us, we just have to live our truth. If you're doing things that you hate, then you're going to have a really hard time. If you start doing the things that you love, that bring more happiness and joy into your life, then you will have a great time. So, I would focus on your truth, not everybody else's. You have this Hangman as well in the area of the very near future. Pretty crazy, a lot of Hangman energy. I've noticed in this set of readings. So Hangman can represent putting yourself on pause, or kind of like, I feel really, it's more of like this back to the drawing board energy. So we've been dealing with a lot of retrograde energy. We have Mars still retrograde. Mars, we're about to have Venus going retrograde soon enough, and then after that we're going to have Mercury going retrograde. So, the retrograde energy is always great for reworking things in your life. And, I love retrograde periods. I feel like retrogrades get a bad rap. Everybody focuses on the bad things, but, some of the best times in my life have been retrograde periods, and some of the times where I've made the most progress have been retrograde periods. Because if you take advantage of the energy and if you slow things down and you think to yourself, how can I make my business more efficient? How can I go back to the drawing board and make this better? Or, it could be anything in your life. You could even be thinking like, how can I improve my relationships? Or, how can I improve the way I look? Or whatever you want to do. Then doing that is going to be very beneficial. And so I would take the time. Allow yourself to take a pause. Allow yourself to, look at the things in your life and how you can improve them. And that's really what I do. Next, in your outcome position, you have this closed-minded card. It says sometimes you fail to see the infinite possibilities and opportunities that are available to you. We all do right now because of Neptune and Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is delusional, so I think that we are in a time of delusional ideas. If you have a delusional idea that actually could work, you're thinking to yourself, this is delusional, there's no way this can work. But really, actually, if you put in the work, it could work. So I think we're in a time where we all have these inspirations right here, Star card, and we need to follow those inspirations. We need to see where they go, even if it seems delusional. You have this diplomat card. It says, with your uncanny ability to form connections in human relationships, you serve as a bridge between worlds. Yes, you definitely could be helping people at this time as well. You have the star also in the area of your next few months, so that's amazing. Number 1, this is amazing for healing and resting, relaxing, recovering. You know, it's a card of hope, faith, and renewal, and so renewal would represent resting, relaxing, recovering. It's also a great card for having a North Star, having that big goal, wish, or dream, or something that you really want to set out and accomplish in your life. So I would take the time to focus on your accomplishments and do things, to get closer to your accomplishments. I think would be great with the star card as well. Also, again, those delusional ideas. Here's the thing, yes, Neptune in Pisces is delusional, but there's one big difference that we have right now, which is Saturn. So, this is like, I don't know the last time Saturn and Neptune were in Pisces together. It was probably a very long time ago, hundreds of years ago, right, where both planets showed up at exactly the same time in Pisces. And so, yeah, Neptune is delusional, but with Saturn there, Saturn's like, if you do the work, yeah, sure, you can accomplish whatever the hell you want. So, I would trust those inspirations where you're like, could I really do this? You probably can if you put in the work. Next, in your closest relationships, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Pretty average, good energy for this part of the reading because Queen of Pentacles is very practical. You are a Virgo, you are very practical, so you could just be taking a very practical approach to your connections. Or you could be looking at your, kind of all your relationships, not just love, from a very practical perspective. And, again, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Three of Swords. I'm pretty sure that it's you that's been getting the Three of Swords with me. Now, the Three of Swords does not have to be a bad card. Can just be a card of forgiving the past. Like I said, for a very long time you have been working on relationships, whether you realize it or not, and the Three of Swords is about forgiveness and removing those swords from your heart so that you can heal. So I do feel that there could still be some healing that you're doing in regards to your connections in general, but again, I feel it's a good thing. You also have the King of Pentacles as your outcome. You have the King and Queen of Pentacles, so if you're looking for love, there could be a really solid connection. I really like the King and Queen of Pentacles together because they're two people who really want to work to make things happen. I guess the one problem with these two is sometimes they're too practical. There isn't enough imagination in the connection. Sometimes we need the fantasy in the connection to make it sexy, right? Right. And so, right now we're going to clarify. But, at this moment, I think that some of that fire, more playfulness in the connection, let's say you're in a relationship watching this reading, I would be more playful, or I would try to bring more playfulness into the connection. If you're not in a connection, if you're finding a connection, I would make sure to, bring some more playfulness to the connection so that it can be playful, so that it can be fun. But, again, overall still very positive. So, let's see where this is going for you, Virgo. With the King of Swords and the Nine of Wands, you have the Hierophant. A lot of Hierophant energy as well, I've noticed. Hierophant is the way things should be done, right? But that's not true. So the thing with the Hierophant is that he represents traditional belief. Neptune in Pisces also represents a direct challenge to traditional belief. So Neptune in Pisces asks us why do you believe this? Why do you believe that? And really you don't have to have a good answer. Just asking the question, that's it. So, I think we're in a time where a lot of us could be breaking out of boxes. He is kind of inside the box thinking, and I think it would be a great time for you, Virgo, to kind of think outside the box and come up with outside the box solutions to things that you're working on. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, if you do want love, you could be thinking about love, and the Nine of Wands would say it would be a good time for you to open up to connections. The Nine of Wands can be very closed off and kind of guarded, so it might be a good time for you to kind of, open your heart or, open up to connections. With the Nine of Wands, it might also be a good time to experiment. Nine of Wands to me is a card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So if you're having a hard time in love, it might just be a good time to date. Don't overcommit to anyone that you are dating, right? Just go on dates and, don't make those deeper commitments and just, really learn, right? That's what I would do there. With the Two of Cups, you have the Two of Cups. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a perfect match. The Two of Cups, like I said, is also you and your higher self. So more importantly than love, I would be connecting to your higher self through, meditation, through your dreams, through your intuition, your inspirations, all those things. And, that's really what I would focus on. With the Death card, you have the Magician. Yeah, very interesting. I get this story popping into my head for you. I'm just going to tell you here, Virgo. It's like I'm not saying that you're manipulative at all. That's not what I'm getting at. But I feel maybe in the past that you would try to make things go a certain way, right? Which we all do. This is not, again, not a criticism. I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. But, I feel very good about it because I feel like it's like you're no longer trying to force things to fit, is more the story that's popping into my head here. Again, I think we all do this. We get into a relationship or, we start a business and we think like, oh, I have to be this great business person. Or, in relationships, we think like, oh, I have to act this certain way so that this person will like me or so that they won't leave me. And that's usually what causes it to end in the first place, is that we're not being authentic, right? And, I kind of just have this story popping into my head here that's what you're letting go of. Very good. That is personal development for sure. With the Hangman, you have the Star. Yes, I'll tell you this right now, with the Star twice, if something is capturing your attention or, if you are feeling inspired by a new direction in life or a new idea, I would definitely say it's time to take action. The Hangman is on pause, and we did talk about how it wouldn't be a terrible thing for you to take a pause. But at the same time, it also wouldn't be terrible for you to take a little bit of action as well. With the Star card, you have the Moon card. Yeah, it's like a new journey. The Moon is part of the Fool's journey. When the Fool gets the Moon, he has no clue where he's going. He just has to follow this path to these mountains, and he has to stay on the path. But the thing about the Moon is he isn't sure if he's going in the right direction or not, or he doesn't know if he's actually going to be able to finish his accomplishment. He's not sure if he's going to get to these mountains. The trick with the Moon is to realize that when you start something, you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know until you get there. So the trick with the Moon is to keep going and to realize that eventually the sun will come up, right? The Moon is just a period of time. And so if you're working on, new business ideas, new directions in your life, if you're starting anything new, this is about realizing that it's a process that you have to go through. With the Queen of Pentacles, you can't make this up, you have the Sun. I prefer readings that go from the Moon to the Sun. I don't like readings that go from the Sun to the Moon. So, luckily we have the Sun here and it's coming up after the Moon. So there is your clarity. With the Queen of Pentacles, this could be another person in your life that helps bring guidance into your life. And again, it doesn't have to be a lover. It could be any connection in your life, period. But definitely a very good card. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive as well. By the way, these two cards represent fame and fortune together, the Sun and the Star, and so there could be a lot more attention coming in for you as well. With the Three of Swords, you have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, I really do feel there's something you have to heal. Remember what I was saying? I think on the Nine of Wands, it's almost like there is something that happened to you, like a challenge or, probably with a person. And I feel you are still holding on to bits and pieces of whatever that is. Whether it was like they did you dirty, they hurt you, they talked about you, they gossiped about you, or whatever. I feel there's something that you have to heal from. And so, yeah, I really don't have any good advice other than to work on healing. With the King of Pentacles, oh, there we go, we have the Four of Wands. So if you're attracting love, definitely could be marriage material here. As I always say, tarot doesn't have to say like, oh, you are definitely going to marry this person. It just says there is potential that you could marry this person, but definitely marriage potential. You also have divorce here, you have this broken ring. It says parting of the ways, either in romance or business. That could be the Death card in the past that maybe you have, and maybe that's what hurt you with the Seven of Swords and the Three of Swords, and maybe that's what you're healing from as well. You have this hammock. It says taking a vacation, physical or mentally, so maybe some of you it's time for vacation or time to take a break. And we basically said that with the Hangman as well. You have this Wall card. It says misunderstandings on it. I would be very clear. We are in a time of clarity. You have that Truth card. The thing that I said about the Magician, I would just be as clear as possible with the people in your life. You have this Unicorn card. It says use your intuition to make beneficial changes. All the Pisces energy. It is a very intuitive time, so we do need to make sure that we are using our intuition at this time as well. You have this horseshoe card. Says good luck on it. Definitely could be a very lucky reading, star twice, right? So those random, inspirations that pop into your head during the day could be your intuition. And I would be making sure that you are trusting your intuition or listening to your intuition at this time with these cards. But this looks very good, Virgo, very straightforward, so love it. But thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.